One of the things I've been thinking about this week, off and on, is what I want to do as far as publication of all these short stories is. This is one of those things that I think would be easier to explain with a video versus text. The sun is out and I am blinded, but I figured I'd give you guys an update of how today's going so far. And I'm sitting outside because it feels good, and I'm wearing a t-shirt because it feels good. But I've gotten a lot done today. Not as much as I would like to do, but I always overplan on Mondays, and sometimes I get everything done, sometimes I don't. But the other thing that's throwing me off today is that the oldest has a follow-up doctor's appointment, and I say follow-up almost immediately after she ran out of the meds that she didn't have a refill for, the antibiotics I think they were. Almost immediately after they were done, her toe, for those who don't know, she had some issues with her toe. They were swollen and they were red and they were pussy and bleeding when she dropped something on them, basically. Sorry for the TMI. But we went to the doctors. They gave her some meds to bring the swelling down, and then they were like, okay, a few days after the swelling goes down, or not swelling, a few days after the meds run out, the antibiotics, go ahead and reschedule a new appointment for her. And I completely spaced that. That is on me. What I should have done was, we knew how long the meds were going to last. We knew they were like there wasn't a refill on them. So what I should have done was go ahead, and as soon as I picked up the meds and started on them, go ahead and schedule her an appointment based on when she should have run out of the meds. And then the other thing that happened is, because on weekends she's been spending so much time staying over at other people's places, the first weekend she was on the meds, she forgot the meds at home. She didn't take them with her. So she missed a few doses of when she was supposed to take them. And between those two things, the moment she ran out of the meds, her toe was starting to look better almost immediately after she started taking the meds. And then the moment she ran out of the meds, they started getting worse again. And I've been keeping an eye on them. She's been soaking them. She's been doing all the right stuff. But she's still got some kind of infection going on. And now we've scheduled an appointment with the podiatrist. They're going to take a look at her toes, see what's going on, see what we need to do next. Her toes are almost as bad now as they were when I first took her into the doctor's. Which is great. It's great. But at least this time, if they put her on meds again, I will, and say, hey, we need to see her back at such and such date, I will immediately, on such and such date, bring her back. I will schedule the appointment before we leave the doctor's office, basically. So, that's fun. But yeah, that's the update I have for you guys. I'll check back in later. So we've got panels here because the gate wouldn't stay closed. We've jerry-rigged them to stay in place with that post. And then here is some of the fence that was leaning, and we were jerry-rigging it to stay standing with that thing, that piece of fencing. And that's the fencing that came down. Completely. It's gone. Yay. That's what we gotta fix. Well, I think we're done with the fence for now. Because, that's hail. I ain't working in hail. I'll work in rain. I ain't working in hail. Fuck this noise. I really need to get this fence fixed. It needs to be up and running so we can let dogs out of their own free volition without having to walk them. I don't want to walk in this shit. So we finished our fence. We were originally going to use a pallet there for a gate, but it wasn't working because of the hill. So we put some panels there instead. And the dogs are happy because the original fence line was there all the way to here. And they've got some extra feedage to play with. What you smelling, Jester? I don't even want to know, actually. But now the yard's bigger. And they got a new fence. Pallets for the win. Fantastic things. Pallets. Yep. And it's been snowing while we've been working, so it's been fantastic fun. And now it's coming down harder, so I'm going to go in and warm up because my fingers are completely frozen and my toes are not far behind. Yay! I just wanted to point out the spoils of war. This bruise/cut and those bruises/cuts. You can't even see the swelling because of the angle I'm doing this at. But those are byproducts of building the fence, and this one too, I guess. Those are byproducts of building the fence the other day. Yay me. So I have this lovely drawing of the Sevenity Universe, which, for those who don't know, is my 7 series, each with 7 short stories. So it's a total of 49 short stories. And the first series is Sultry Solstices, which follows 7 sisters. And basically what I've been trying to do is map out the connections between all the stories. So the first series is Sultry Solstices. And then the second series is Monstrous Mates. The main character, the love interest in the second Sultry Solstices, is part of a garage band, and one of the other members is the main love interest in the first one of the Monstrous Mates. Each series has a central theme, so like the first one follows 7 sisters, the second one follows 7 monsters, third one cryptids, fourth one is a circus of shifters, animal shifters that are part of the circus. I'll see, the fifth one is dragons that were changed and cursed or blessed, depending on your viewpoint, by Morgan Le Fay and Merlin. The 6th series follows a family of royal bear shifters. It's like a retelling of Polar Bear King and a bunch of other fairy tales kind of thing, kind of, sort of, not exactly. And then the last series follows a coven of witches. So each series has a central theme, but I was trying to figure out other connections. So the band member appears as the main love interest in the first one of the Monstrous Mates. And then in the cryptids, the main character in the first one is a cousin of the 7 sisters. The witches, there's a coven mentioned in this second story because the main character is a witch. There's a coven of witches mentioned, and they are the main characters. All 7 are characters in the witches series. Then with the circus one, we actually meet the fortune teller, who is part of the circus, in the third story of the Sultry Solstices, which is the first series. And then, as well as that, the ringmaster is a dragon shifter, and I think he is going to be the main love interest in the last story of the Dragons Curse Blessed by Merlin and Morgan Le Fay. And also, he is partnering with, I want to think, he's going to partner with one of the witches. Maybe not one of the witches directly in this one. Like, it's not going to be their romance story, because their romance story is going to be the 7th story of the dragons. But I think he's going to partner with the leader of the coven. And that will tie in this one as well. And then with the royal bear shifter family, one of the shifters at the circus is a bear. And I was thinking of this series more as like a prequel series. Same thing with the dragon shifter one, because we're going to be jumping time a little bit with our original story being in the time of Merlin and Morgan Le Fay. I can bring it down to the modern times, actually, now that I think about it. I might actually do that. But still, my point is that the original curse, blessing, whatever way you want to think about it, took place in the past, even if we jump to modern times with this story series. So, but I'm still thinking these series will be like more prequel series to the rest of these. That's why they're kind of separated. They're kind of separated, actually, because I didn't know how they were connected at first. This is a new connection I've made. But I'm thinking that the bear shifter mentioned at the circus is a descendant of the royal family. Like a very far descendant, not going to be inheriting anything anytime soon, unless, of course, that's how he's pulled in. Maybe he's being pulled back to royalty. That's a possibility. Since I don't have a story idea for him, that's a possible storyline. Anyways, the only one I actually have storylines for completely 100% are Sultry Solstices. I have the main plot worked out in this series, the Monstrous Mates, the one with the monsters. And same thing for the cryptids. I have the main storyline plotted out for the cryptids as well. Those 3 are the only ones, though. I have an inkling of an idea for some of the stories in the circus companions, some of the stories in the witches companions, some of the stories in the royal bear shifter family, and some in the dragon shifter series. But nothing concrete nothing as concrete as the first 3 series. Which is fine, because those are the ones I'm focusing on first. So, yeah. That's what I've been working on. And this all came about because someone asked me how I've been making connections between the different stories, and I was starting to map them out. And I only recently came up with the connections right here. So, slowly I will map out more connections, because it's possible the stories will be related in other ways as I write them, but since I haven't plotted them out yet, and I haven't written them yet, not going to worry about it. More connections may come up in the future. We'll see. One of the things I've been thinking about this week, off and on, is what I want to do as far as publication of all these short stories is. I have the Sevenity Universe, which is going to be 49 short stories in the end. I also have another fairy tale retelling series that I would like to work on after I finish the Sevenity series, maybe in between the Sevenity series, that consists of 13 short stories. And I've got other short stories as well. So one of the things that I am trying to think about is, and one of the things I've been thinking about off and on this week, is how I want to publish these. Currently, I have a couple different pen names I can work with. So SD Hegyes is my main fantasy name. I have 4 novels and novellas under it currently, all of them part of different series. I have 3 books that are novels, part of 2 different series, and then I have 1 that is a novella, part of its own series. One of the things I've been thinking about as far as the pen name goes is, do I want to keep SD Hegyes, which is my main pen name, for just novellas and novels, and then do a separate pen name for all the short stories, because there's going to be so many. And I know that there is some crossover between formats and styles of stories, but I also know that there are a lot of people who only read novellas and novels, and some people who only read short stories, and without ever mixing the two. So part of me wonders if I should publish the short stories under a pen name and keep all the short stories under their own pen name. I wouldn't be hiding it. Like, I would make it very clear these were stories written by me. I usually publish for novels and novellas. Check out SD Hegyes Works. Hi. He is behind me. So it's not like I would be hiding the fact that I'm writing these. It's more about whether or not I want to have everything to mingle under the same name. It's actually that question about whether or not I want to publish under a pen name is what prevented me from going ahead and setting up the pre-order for Changeling. I was supposed to set up a pre-order for Changeling this week. It was supposed to be done on Wednesday. And then I got to thinking, if I publish all the short stories under a pen name, I don't want to set up Changeling to be under SD Hegyes if I'm just going to publish them under a pen name. So I've got to make up a decision, because I would like to publish Changeling in May still. Though actually I'm leaning more towards July, August with publishing Changeling. Only because when I reread it again for like the 15th millionth time, it's starting to feel less like, I thought it was a spring book, but the more I read it, the more it feels like late summer, early autumn. And there's no season actually mentioned in the story that I can recall off the top of my head. I will be doing one more last read through before I publish it. And I think it's one of those that has like a late summer, early autumn feel, and that means that's when I would like to publish it. Methinks one of the things I can work on is I have 3 different short story series. I'm using short series loosely in this case. So there's the Sevenity Universe, which consists of 49 short stories. There's the fairy tale retellings. I have another one that's seasonal, dealing with fae. Those are closer to novellas, I think, because they will be right around the 25,000 word mark. So they are closer to novella length. And again, I will have to decide what name, if I do separate these two, what name I'll do those under. Those have the potential of being a little on the spicier side. And that was the other thing. With SD Hegyes, there is no sex scene in Damned and Dangerous or Damned and Desolate. There's mention of sexy times. There's a bunch of heavy petting. There's a bunch of like teasing, taunting, sexual innuendos, curse words, violence in those books, but there's no on-page sex. And with
Dear Satan, which is the novella series, there is mention of, the whole series follows taboo subjects. We've got, with the first one, we've got a menage a trois mentioned and kind of sort of not exactly seen. We've got suicide and children pornography mentioned in the second story, which is like a Grim Reaper kind of tale where someone is taking, we are killing child rapists and child pornographers, not, we're killing people who deal with child pornography, not, it's not, I'm not featuring it in a good light, I'm featuring it in a bad light, just so you know. And then with like the third story in that series, it features, again, there's a lot of like self-harm. So like there's taboo subjects in that series, but there's, again, no on-page sex. Puck's Choice, there is one scene of on-page sex. It's consensual between teenagers. Again, not painted in a good light, and there's some repercussions to it. Like, so all that being said, with SD Hegyes, I don't tend to have explicitly spicy scenes. And I purposely made it so there's no explicitly spicy scenes. There is definitely mentioned, there is some on-page sex that's not graphic. In fact, actually, Jenna's story has, there is a rape scene in Jenna's story. It is central to the plot, kind of. One of the things I will be talking with my editor about, one of the things I did mention with my editor is whether or not I can actually, like, is it central enough to the story that it has to stay, or is that something we can remove? And again, not painted in a good light, not graphic in detail, like, you know it's happening, but it's not described, kind of thing. So I'm trying, while SD Hegyes does cover like taboo subjects, again, no really graphic on-page smexy times, no, there's a heat level, and I don't think SD Hegyes qualifies with any of the smexy time scenes that there are in any of the books. It is not, none of it's like graphic sex. You know it's happening, there's some description of things happening, but there's no, we're not in the moment. I don't really know what I'm trying to say as far as like description goes. It's not detailed, it's not graphic. That's all I can say. There are a couple books with smexy time scenes. It's not detailed, it's not graphic when they are there, and most of the time, not there. So, but with some of the short stories, especially like even within the Sevenity Universe, while the first series is very sweet, like the characters don't even kiss until near the very end of each story kind of thing, some of the later series will include smexy times. There will be on-page, very graphic smut. And I don't necessarily want that published under SD Hegyes, if that makes sense. Plus, with all of the short stories coming out, I don't know if I even want them to be under SD Hegyes. So one of the things I've been thinking about is whether or not to put them under a pen name, and if so, what pen name to put them under. And I do have a collection of videos where I talk about pen names and stuff. I will link that in the description if you are interested in checking that out. There is a pen name that I mentioned in that video. Like, I'm not certain if I'm going to continue publishing under this pen name because it was originally supposed to be for Cozy Paranormal Mysteries. And I think the Cozy Paranormal Mysteries are not cozy mystery enough to actually stay as cozy mysteries. I think they are just a little too much on the graphic side as far as the violence goes, that they will actually be considered urban fantasy rather than, or paranormal romance rather than cozy paranormal. So, and that was the only series I had planned for that pen name at the moment. So I'm thinking that series is going to get published under SD Hegyes and maybe use that pen name because I do like that pen name. It's Coda Hegyes. It's a iteration of my middle name and my married last name. My middle name is Dakota, for those who don't know. So Coda, K-O-T-A, Hegyes. What are you doing, Baggy? He's trying to get in my bathroom. The bathroom door's closed. You can't go in there. I know, I usually don't close it because I have trouble with the door, but it's closed because I was tired of you guys going in there. All of that to say that I have decisions to make. And I think I'm leaning more towards the two pen names. I just haven't decided if I want all the short stories to be under Coda Hegyes, or if I want to come up with something completely different, just in case I do continue to write cozy paranormal mysteries and I do want them under a separate name. Again, nothing's set in stone until I start publishing, and even then I can like take down and republish under different names. So like, it's not a huge deal. I am making this a bigger deal than it is, but it is something I would like to think about right now before I start publishing stuff. And then if that is the case, what do I want my debut story to be with this new pen name as far as short stories go? Because honestly, Changeling isn't it. I like Changeling. I think it's a good solid story, but it's fantasy, and most of what I'm writing these days is paranormal romance. So it's gonna stand out, and I don't want that to be my debut short story under a new pen name if that's the case. So I've got to figure out what my debut short story will be under a new pen name if I do a new pen name. So yeah, that is one of the things I've been thinking about this week, along with just developing more details with the Sevenity Universe. I'm sure there will have been clips before now with that. I've been thinking about a bunch of different stuff. I might actually have to message my Discord 12-week year group. If you're interested in being a part of that, just let me know. I'll drop you a link. But I might have to message them and kind of brainstorm with them, because I am leaning more towards a pen name, and it's just a matter of deciding what I want to do as far as a pen name goes. Like, what pen name do I want? Another thing I need to start doing as well is figuring out how to like balance more projects in, especially while I'm not working, because I also have another pen name I need to start focusing on with a co-writer. Again, the co-writing stuff is mentioned in that video where I talk about pen names. It's Isabeau Hawk. That's the pen name we write under. And the way our relationship works with the co-author is they want to remain anonymous as much as possible. So I don't say a lot about how our relationship works as far as co-writing. What I can say is that they've been coming up with most of the ideas. We write contemporary magical realism with that. It's a soulmate alternate universe stories where like dealing with the red string of fate and fated soulmates. Like, one of the first series we're talking about doing is that on someone's 21st birthday, 21st, 25th, one of their birthdays, time freezes for a whole 24 hours while they find their soulmate. And them and their soulmate are the only two that are unfrozen during this frozen time period kind of thing. So that's one of the first ones we're doing as far as like soulmate alternate universes. She got the idea from like some Tumblr posts with a bunch of soulmate AU stuff, and we rolled with it. And the way our relationship works is they are coming up with the ideas for the stories. They are doing a lot of the outlining and planning, and then I'm just writing the drafts. They will be doing a lot of the editing with me. We'll be going back and forth until we're satisfied with the story, and then we'll be publishing kind of things. And with that's as much as they want known about them as far as their contributions to the work. They don't want their names out there if they don't have to, and stuff like that. Maybe eventually, but right now they're like a silent, when you've got a business and there's a silent partner who remains anonymous, that's what they want to be. They want to be a silent partner. And rather than publishing those under my name, we are publishing those under the name Isabeau Hawk, because we both liked the movie Lady Hawk growing up, and the main character's name is Isabeau. The reason I brought that up is because if I do go ahead and have to pick a different pen name and I don't go with Coda Hegyes, I would like to do something like that, where I take a combination of names from like another piece of literature that I like. So that's just one of the things I'm thinking about, and maybe what I'll have to do is like jump on my Discord group and have like a discussion or chat about it, brainstorm session with a bunch of different people. Heck, maybe I will jump on a call with my co-writer and brainstorm some ideas with them. Yeah, that's just one of the things I've been thinking about lately. Nothing's coming to fruition yet. I would like to start publishing short stories I don't think the Sultry Solstices series is going to be ready, which means I'm going to be looking at some of my standalones. And if that's the case, then I need to figure out which of my standalones can be like my debut. Because again, I don't think Changeling's it, because Changeling is much different than what I'll be mostly publishing. I still will have Changeling come out. It'll just be later. And then I need to figure out a publishing schedule with them. And I need to develop a writing/publishing schedule for pretty much everything else in between. Because I have so many story ideas, And there's a lot of stuff that's like finished, nearly finished, just needs editing, almost finished to the point where it almost needs editing kind of stuff. That I need to start getting some stuff out. I need to start getting some stuff out. Especially since I have covers for a lot of my works already. It's just a matter of getting them ready for publication. So it's time to get off my lazy ass and do that. It's just a matter now of figuring out what I want coming out where. So yeah, if you have any opinions, I know there's some people that publish everything under one name, and originally, a long time, if you'd asked me 10 years ago, I would have told you everything was going to go under one name. When I started publishing, I literally did that. Everything went under one name. And then later I was like, no, I want to start separating the different genres, which is why I have SD Hegyes for all my fantasy stuff. I have another pen name for when I start publishing contemporary romance. I don't have a lot of ideas for contemporary romance. Heck, I could even start... No, I don't want to mix the short stories with the contemporary romance. So no, that's not going to work. But I only have like 1 4-book series and 2 or 3 standalone ideas for contemporary romances. With the contemporary romance, though, I will be doing both short stories and novellas and novels under that one name, just because I don't have so many ideas with that one. So when I do come up with an idea that's contemporary romance, it'll automatically get put under that pen name. That's the difference right there, too. I have so many novel and novella ideas and so many short story ideas that I think I can get away with separating them. Whereas with contemporary romance, I do not have enough ideas that I think I can separate them. Because I have a few ideas for, like I said, I have that 4-book series and 2 standalone novels for now. And then I have some inkling of ideas that may become novels, will probably be either short stories or novellas. So, yeah, all of that to say that I've just been thinking about publishing and what names I want to do them under and how I want to work everything, because I'm not certain. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing these days. If you have any ideas, hints, clues, if you have any suggestions for a pen name to put some stuff under, feel free to drop all that in the comments. But I think I'm going to end this vlog here. It's been more of a chatty one on this side, but sometimes that happens. I haven't been turning on the camera to film. I am going out of town. It is Sunday today when I'm filming this. I will be going out of town tonight with my husband. We are going to go to Great Falls, which is about an hour's drive away. And we're going to be doing that because he's got a class on Monday and Tuesday. And I think I'm going to vlog my experience while we're at the hotel. Yeah, I think that's going to be it. This is going to be it for this vlog. And I think my next vlog will be the hotel experience when I'm doing I'm treating it as like a mini writing retreat, which is going to be a lot of fun. So yeah. That's going to come next week. Next week's vlog will be a mini writing retreat kind of thing. So, I'm looking forward to it. Anyways, I will see you all in my next video. Bye, Dragonlings.
He's mad because I won't let him outside. He's almost fully recovered now, but there's snow on the ground, so I'm not letting him outside. Apparently this feels good. Nibble, nibble, nibble. With his fangs, his nibbles are turning into bites, which is painful. What was that look for? Oh, it's because I switched. Is it because I switched? Oh, I found another good spot. Itchy, 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 itchy. Such an itchy boy. Bite ferociously.
I've really hit the point where I don't know if he actually likes it or not. Pixel's on the bed too. I'm just napping. I expect her to go, oh! She did not go, oh! Aggie! Ah! You're pushing me off the bed! I'm right on the edge of glory! Ah! You are pushing me off the bed. Quite literally, I'm already on the edge. Oh, hold on. Hold on, I gotta shift. Okay, I made him get up. I made him mad. He got up. And he lays back down. What do you do all day, Skye, now that you're not working? Well, honestly, usually I'm sitting at a desk actually working, but, he's laying on my arm. I have been catted and I can't get up. That's my life now.